Smile.
Is it recorded when the red light is on or when the red light is off?
When it's a little square.
Can you see the red light from there?
I could.
I think that's a recording button.
We can't.
Oh, okay, good. I want you to stare at it more and say something to the audience. Hello, Reminderville.
Birds. Go ahead.
Roll call?
Mr. DeCarlo?
Here?
Mr. Hoffman?
Here.
Mr. Condit?
Here.
Mr. Molina?
Here.
Mr. Schultzman did anybody?
Yesterday, yeah,
He didn't say anything to me yesterday.
Mr. Wiggins?
Here.
Approval of meeting minutes for May 10th, 2016.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Roll call on approval of minutes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggins?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Amendments to the agenda.
Yes, Mr. President, I have one. It's resolution number 46, 2016. A resolution to hire Dominic Love as a seasonal part-time laborer in the Department of Public Service to be paid at a rate of $9 per hour and declaring an emergency.
You need a second?
Second.
Roll call on adding resolution 46.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggins?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go right into committee reports. Mayor?
I really don't have anything other than, I know everybody's met Adams, but I want to commend him on just the brief time that he's been here, a couple of weeks, and I see a ton of stuff getting done. I really appreciate everything you're doing. So it's a big load off our shoulders. I look for great things from you, so thank you.
Thank you. No question.
That's it. Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Carpenter?
No report.
Engineering has no report. I do want to mention, though, the bridge on Nautilus Trail, they started on that. Haven't done too much other than have some equipment there and drop some stuff off, but they have started. Service Department, I did not receive a report from Mr. Scafidi. I know they're doing the basic maintenance, cleaning up the roads, picking up trash. The plant should be going up very soon. The community garden is tilled and they're working over on the park side for the long-term community development project.
Yeah, the flowers will be up next Tuesday, the baskets. Well, they're gonna pick them up for sale today.
And rec center.
Before I turn it over to Adam, because I know he wants to talk a little bit about programming, I do want to mention that change orders are out there, or they will soon be out there, decisions I know have to be made quickly. But we're going to have to go through the process of formally approving those change orders. I don't think there's any change orders out there that will be a surprise because we've discussed them all, but we still have to go through the formal process of approving. So, because we're only meeting once a month, I'm not sure if we're going to need some special meetings to do this.
You guys wanna do it Saturday or something? Work session, go through everything.
Yeah.
You mean this Saturday?
Pick the colors. I don't care what Saturday. We'll do it.
What's everyone's pleasure?
It's the holiday Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody
Yeah,
knows.
let's,
Do the following Saturday. June 11th, or June 4th. June 4th.
That's a Saturday?
yes.
What time?
10 o'clock, good for everybody. 9 o'clock.
Do 9?
9?
No, he's good.
9? Good. All right, now, are we gonna be able to do that in one session of emergency, or?
I hope so.
Yeah,
Okay,
as long as
all
we
right.
have, we need to have 5 people to do it.
So we're going to talk about all of them on Saturday, and then Tuesday the 7th, we'll have all the legislation, or how can we're not going to actually have a council meeting on that Saturday, or
No.
No, I think we're gonna talk about it
Right. Okay.
Then the 14th.
on the 14th.
Or 14th, I'm sorry.
Right.
I said 7th. Okay.
Very good.
Adam?
Sure, last 2 weeks have definitely been busy, especially on the programming side and everything that comes along with the programming. Currently finalizing our software system, our payment system, working with Deborah on credit cards, and really running a lot of scenarios on our membership rates, our rental rates, our family rates, and all those types of rates to make sure we're hitting those marks and meeting our expectations for those. And then with the programming side, we're also in the beginning stages of our marketing plans, our marketing materials, and our e-marketing opportunities as well. Working on staffing and finalizing those staffing structures, rules, policies, and waivers before we can begin the programming, and then obviously looking at our fall programming, especially with our seniors, looking at the Silver Sneakers program, as well as another program that's similar to Silver Sneakers, the Silver Fit program as well. Along with the construction piece, one of the big things that I'm currently working on is getting the basketball hoops in place, suspended from the ceiling, so that is another larger type project. But that's kind of what's been happening these last couple weeks.
I know you've also started the process with the latchkey program so that people know that they can count on it, that we will have that for them this fall.
Yeah.
Just briefly, can you tell us what's going on with that?
Absolutely. We're currently on meetings with the Twinsburg superintendent and the Aurora superintendent this coming week and Monday. We need to get our staffing in place first off, and then, believe it or not, the first day of school is August 17th for both Aurora and Twinsburg. We will both have a morning program. Got to finalize the time, but somewhere between 7 o'clock and the start of school, and then in the afternoon until around 6 o'clock.
You do know you gotta do Batman at 5:30, right?
Yes, yeah. We'll look at Badminton guys. And speaking of Badminton, did meet with those guys. Their group leaders seem like real nice guys, and learned a lot about their program and their capabilities. So definitely implement those Badminton type programs coming up too.
Thanks, Adam. Deborah?
I don't have a report, but just wanted to let you know that ordinance 10, which is a transfer to pay OPWC, can go through 2 readings, does not need to be passed by emergency. And does not do until July.
Okay. Thank you, Deborah. Chief Buck?
I have one thing, the cruiser that we approved to be sold to the department down south did not happen. They could not come up with funds. So we've stripped the car, pulled the decals off, and it's going to go to auction next week to be sold. The problem is it's a dog car. You don't want it doesn't smell the best.
Jeff, at last week's meeting, at the request of the mayor, we talked about repealing the ordinance for the parking bureau, and we have a few questions for you as to if we repeal it and what we're doing now. My understanding is that if there's an issue with the snowplow drivers and cars blocking the road, that they can contact your guys through dispatch, and they'll come out and ask people to move cars. If there's parking issues on both sides of the street where it's blocking traffic, same thing can happen. A resident can call the non-emergency number to have vehicles move. We're looking at the cost of what the parking bureau could potentially cost us versus not doing it, repealing that legislation, and just stay with what you've been doing in the past. Can you kind of enlighten all of us on that?
What's the question? Which one of those was the question?
Currently, how are you handling it?
Which one? The snowplow drivers?
Snowplow.
In the past, if there's a car that's in their way, they call, and we'll of course show up, run the plate, and go ask the homeowner to move the vehicle.
What happens if they don't? What power do you have?
Well, we don't have any, but I can't.
Okay.
I don't know any time that they haven't.
No, with that is, okay, go ahead.
And then as far as where you'll get people parking on both sides of the street where we don't have no parking this side of the street signs up?
The only thing that we can enforce are the state parking codes, which is handicap, fire hydrant, parking in an intersection. Everything else we can't enforce without parking bureau. Do I recall any time that we've had a double parking issue and it hasn't been resolved? No. We receive probably one call a week for parking permission from different people that are having guests over for the weekend or a party, what have you. If it's too big a vehicle, if they're having guests in, they're driving an RV, we let them park it next to the police department. So they're down there during the day, at night they come up and park in the lot beside us. Go ahead.
Well, what else, I mean, we asked, last meeting, we asked that Jeff be here to answer questions, and I opened it up to the rest of us. This is your chance to get things clarified and decide what we want to do with this ordinance.
I was under the impression that the Bureau would assist your department, and it was something that the police of the village needed. So that's really my question. Do you, as chief, feel we need to have a Bureau?
Well, the Bureau doesn't assist us, the Bureau is actually a part of the
Gives you-
department.
Yes.
And what the Parking Bureau allows us to do is enforce the village ordinances that don't carry over to the state ordinances. Do we have a problem with it? Before this happened and we couldn't write parking tickets anymore, we probably wrote 5 to 7 tickets a year. You can decide whether that's a problem or not.
It sounds expensive per ticket to me.
I don't know what the expenses are, so I can't tell you that.
Our understanding was about $2,500 of investment just to get you started with tickets. Then there would be the setting up a couple of employees to handle the process of appeal and filing. So there's paperwork, there's appeals, and then the whole court processing after that. So,
In a perfect world, would I like to have it? Sure, I'd like to have it as another tool. Is it something that we can't afford at the current time? I don't know. It's been on the floor for 4 years, 5 years, might even been longer than that. That's been tossed around. So, your pleasure.
Well, we had a citizen come up last meeting. I live on Glenwood, there's no parking, so I'm not affected by it, and I didn't realize that it's potentially a big problem. He was coming up with all these cases of people parking, not moving, being stubborn about it. I was under the impression that people were cooperative, and she painted a different picture to give the impression that it would be a tool that you could use.
I'm gonna guess the ladies on Pirates Trail, Pirates Cove.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a problem. There's a guy down there that's not that cooperative, but if we ask him to move his vehicles, he moves them, but they're usually back there the next day. But again, that's a neighbor dispute. If we get the car moved off the street, then they're gonna be complaining about the car in the driveway that's abandoned. Or they're not keeping the yard mowed. So there's always gonna be those problems.
But I did hear you correctly that you said it would be a tool that you'd like to have.
In a perfect world, but it doesn't, I'd go either way with it, whatever you decide.
Any other questions for Jeff? I do have.
There's more expenses that come along with it other than the tickets. Okay.
Okay. Well, I have a piece of legislation, if you want to bring it up, to amend the council meeting agenda, and we can take it from there. We can take it to first reading. I'll give everybody another chance to think about it for a couple more weeks.
After all this time, let's keep it at first reading.
Talk louder, please.
That's my line.
After what?
I mean, after all this time, I don't see us needing.
You've already passed it.
We're
Okay, so
looking to-
You have a parking bureau right now.
Mhm.
He has that.
It would take
He has
3
a
readings to
repeal.
appeal it.
I have an ordinance here that we can amend the agenda on the council meeting. I'm not looking to get it passed tonight. I just said we can go to first reading. And then we've still got 3 more weeks to think about it before the next meeting.
But if council wants it, then he doesn't have to put it on.
But if
But whatever your desires are.
I will put this on, I will make a motion to amend the agenda. If I don't get a second, then it fails. And we can take it from there. All right, thank you, Chief. Okay. Chief Plunkett.
I just have one thing, we might see some legislation coming up here in the future that, our ambulance billing company that charges the insurance companies for our rescue squad calls. Deborah has been very diligent in watching the spreadsheets that come in, the reports, the income reports that come in from them. And she noticed that, I want to say 14, 15, last 2 years, they've been diminishing slightly. So she questioned that, I want to know why. She questioned the billing agency and wanted to know why. And their response was that we have less people that have coverage, insurance coverage, than we have had in the past, per capita. So one suggestion they said to us, they emailed me back and said, one way you can alleviate this is we haven't raised our rates as a community since 2007. The other communities are raising theirs annually. So they're keeping up with it, because it's a universal problem, it's everywhere. So I asked her to send me the information about what the surrounding communities' rates are, and we were $100 less per run than Quincy. So their suggestion was, come up people with the surrounding communities, and you'll see that level off, and you won't have that dip in revenues. So I'll put all that together in a report to the mayor, and you might see, depending on what he says down the road, some kind of request to amend this contract, which would then have to go to the law director. We simply raise the fees from.
And that's just on the insurance side, we're not charging residents
We're not.
that
So-
fee. If they don't have the insurance, they don't pay it.
That's right. Some
And that's
communities do,
important.
but we've elected to not do that. If they have insurance, the insurance company gets billed. If they don't, they send me a waiver, I sign a waiver for our residents, and it's free.
Okay.
I just, as a rumination, thought Obamacare required everybody to have insurance.
Maybe not
Not-
ambulance coverage.
May not be in the core piece.
Tom, one other thing, on resolution 34 for 911 cellular,
Yes.
I know you had said last meeting or the meeting before you were still working out some details.
Yes.
Are we good to go because we're at third reading on that tonight?
Yes, well, there's a little caveat to that, but the reason I wanted you to hold on to it originally when you questioned me was because when he sent me this proposal, when he sent us this proposal, it's like an à la carte menu, and he has a number of things checked here that he wants to sell to us, and I wanted to make sure that we weren't being oversold, that we were buying only what we need. And so I needed more time to evaluate it, and I have completed that evaluation, and the package that he has here is sufficient for our needs. He actually gave us quite a bit of a discount from what his original quotes were the first time he was in here to present to the council. We're saving a significant amount of money over his original quote. So, Chief Buck and I have had some conversations about this as well. I'll let him expound on that, but as far as I'm personally concerned, the contract is adequate for this community.
The $11,000 figure is the annual one.
It is, that is just for year one.
Right.
So in the continuing years, it'll be $9,000. The extra $2,000 is a startup fee for the first one.
Twinsburg dispatches,
You don't have an issue with it.
okay.
And the $11,000 that we need, that is budgeted.
It's not
It
budgeted.
is
not
not budgeted.
Does it need to be
You want
budgeted?
to talk about that?
It does, we need to talk about that, Jim.
Well, when we originally were presented with this, when the individuals came to do their initial presentation to council, I had never heard of it before, but I knew that that problem existed, and it exists community. So it seemed to me that that was an intelligent answer to that problem. So I asked the individuals for a private meeting with them so I could better understand how this would impact us. And after that meeting, they had convinced me that it was worthwhile. So I went to the mayor and told him, he asked me, I said, I'm in for half, I'm half the safety force. So I have a slush fund ambulance billing that could be allowed to be used for a number of things, and this certainly falls under one of them. And so I offered to pay half of the contract cost out of my ambulance billing. I didn't have an answer for the second half, the other half. I would assume that it would be,
Buck would pay
I would assume that it would be Chief Buck. That would be my assumption.
Can you pull that out of your slush fund?
I wish I had a slush fund. I don't have that kind of money. The guy sitting right up there knows that better than anybody. He's the one that whacked it down to nothing.
That was brutal.
I don't have that
Take it
kind
out
of
of your
money.
ambulance billing fund?
Yeah, we can take it out of the ambulance building fund that I have, Deborah. How much is in there?
So what's your pleasure, council?
So we got $5,500 we gotta
Pony up with.
pony up with. Of course, I could do the famous line you used it earlier. Take out the jet, right? That's what everybody says.
Well, I think, Deborah?
There's definitely money available in the jet fund that's not been appropriated. There's a significant amount there. And
Okay.
if council chooses to use 5,500, I don't think it would be an issue. We would have to have separate legislation in the next council meeting in order for me to pay them,
Okay.
but I don't.
Chief?
I know there was some discussion at the last council meeting about the cruiser that we're getting ready to sell and where that money was gonna go. That money should go back into the general fund like it always does, but there's some money that will be close to that 5,500. It won't be here until the third week of June, but it'll be here.
And you think it's gonna be around 5,500?
I think it'll be around 4.
Even smelling like a dog.
And some people like dogs.
Like,
Jeff, just as a side note on that, if you got an ozone machine and stuck it in there for the day,
Zorbex? How about Zorbex?
I've got ozone will
Kill the particles.
de-skunk a dog, get that smell off a dog.
Hey, anything would, I'd be willing to try anything.
They have those small, I'll set you up, there's a company in Oakwood Village that rents them
Okay?
for about $45 a day, and I think their smallest machine might solve the problem in that car.
Okay. After we're off this topic, I've got one other thing I need to bring up.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm not.
All right, well, we're gonna be at third reading tonight. Are we all in agreement between what Chief Plunkett is gonna pony up, Chief Buck on the car, and then the balance we can take out of the jet? I don't think this is something we should delay, especially since it's happened to us
couple times.
3 times.
So going forward then, if you would agree to those terms, it's gonna continue to come out of the ambulance billing operating fund. My half,
You're right.
his half,
The half you're paying now is the same amount you'll pay next year then.
will
Well,
actually be.
It'll be
reduced.
45.
45.
Nice try.
Yeah, I was trying. That was good.
Not today, I have
He's
4
still
cups of
awake.
coffee, it ain't going over my head today.
All right. Jeff?
On that same note, I think we should be vigilant over whether it's working or not. Because as I understand it, you've got to get an icon loaded on your phone, you've got to push that icon. And people in a stressful situation tend to revert back to learned behavior, 911. And if we get in the same rut and it's not working, maybe we should assess that later down the road.
Now, they did say they would work with us in educating the residents.
Yes, they will give you, they will come in for the first year, and they'll do a marketing campaign, they'll do public relations appearances, and other related advertisement type issues that he did expound on. I agree with Chief Buck in the sense that we do need to monitor the program, and at the end of the year, we'll do it for a year. And if we don't see it catching on or working effectively, then we either have to make some adjustments or
Now, will dispatch be able to tell how that call's coming in?
No. Is this gonna come in?
It's gonna be tough to monitor this thing, to find out.
It'll come in restricted, won't it?
It probably will, or he has an integer on it you can put on there. He'll
They'll
be
know.
able to tell, but not necessarily the dispatcher, but, Neil will be able to tell.
Right. So that'll be our monitoring.
Which one of the things you can actually ask the person after the emergency, what they use.
Yes, and the other thing I didn't ask him, but now that you mention it, I will, is there's gotta be, it's a very sophisticated company. There's gotta be a way that he tracks the number of people who are downloading the app.
Right.
Is that common, you can do that, you can download it? Keep track of the number of apps that are
And
downloaded?
Carp's our IT guy.
I'm assuming that.
I can't laugh.
That's one of the young guys.
So maybe he can tell, hey,
What ask me?
because if we get to the end of the year and a dozen people.
They can track it.
download it.
Okay. Jeff?
Last week, I had some conversations with Stacy and Deborah with regard to our animal control contract. And the issues in the coloring book version form were that there was some confusion about the residents calling to trap the groundhog or the skunk or the raccoon in their attic and who was paying for it. Of course, the residents thought that the city was paying for it. So we all talked about it briefly, and I think the consensus was that the officer will go to the scene if it presents a imminent threat or it's an emergency, life danger, so on and so forth. We will dispatch our animal control people, whether it's a dog or not. But if we don't call and the officer says, no, we're not going to trap the squirrels in your attic, then the homeowners would be responsible for that bill, which the guys will let them know. We'll also track the billing as it comes in through our incident reports and whether the officers authorized that or did not authorize that. I've talked to Deborah about that.
So technically, you do have an ambulance billing fund.
I have an animal billing fund, except for I don't get any money from it.
Still starts with an A.
Right.
So we changed the number on the website so they don't call the police department direct as well. It had the number there, and it was, of course, in the evening and on the weekends, there's not always somebody in the station. So we made that go to dispatch as well.
Okay.
So just to kind of give you the heads up.
Thank you, Chief. You're done too. Thank you, Chief. Architectural Board of Review.
Architectural Board of Review met last night. We okayed 6 fences. We had 1 fence no-show. We approved 10 decks. We approved 1 roof addition, and we approved 1 new Ryan home design, the Rome version, which you would be hard pressed to pick out from the other ones that we blend right now.
Thank you, sir. Planning and zoning. The reports since last meeting. Board of Zoning Appeals, we do have an appeal coming up.
Yeah, I forget what the date is.
Yes.
But there is one coming up.
Okay, thank you.
Second Monday next month.
Finance?
13.
As long as we're on the zoning board of appeals, do we know if the party on Florida has applied for the building permit? Does anybody know that?
For the house?
For the house?
I think we would have,
If Terry was here, we would probably know.
No.
I think we would have now.
Yeah, we would
I
have.
don't know.
Briefly, my conversation with our building inspector was that needed to progress very rapidly
I agree.
because the garages are built. So,
Walmart built.
I'm looking at it, and I've talked back and forth with the building inspector, I'll make another call again. I don't know if everybody's up to speed on that, but the gentleman that owns the property, according to our inspector, cannot store his equipment in the garages or on the property until the residence is constructed, finished, and has an occupancy permit.
Oh, that, I did not know.
Yeah, that's a little
That's news for us since last meeting.
And have they pushed that issue?
Well, we can't see you can't see in the garage, and we're certainly not gonna go up and look in the garage, so anything that's in there, Bob and I decided is kind of fair game. But there was a time where there were trailers and equipment being stored outside that was not part of what they were building.
So if residents were to call in because they see activity
California Street.
California.
of equipment going in and out of that garage, then they could make a phone call.
The guy owns a landscaping business. So if he's storing his landscaping trailers and stuff there overnight, certainly that doesn't have anything to do with him building the house.
Okay.
And
But people should be seeing activity going in and out.
there's no house, he built the garages
I
first.
understand that, but I'm saying neighbors would be seeing trucks going in and out, right?
Sure.
So they just have to report it.
Hard to distinguish whether they're going in and out for current work or other things.
Finance?
Finance met today, we reconciled April's bank statements. Our next meeting will be June 14th, and it'll start at 6. Since we only have one meeting, that way we can do both the, go through the invoices and do May's bank record. That is it.
Thank you. Cable, our next meeting will be June 2nd at 7. Communications?
Can I go back to cable? Is
Sure.
there anything to the room that Time Warner has sold and a new company's coming in?
I have not heard that, but I will know
Okay.
June 2nd.
I understand a company from Utah is taking it.
I know there was talk of a merger with another.
Oh, maybe it's a merger.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
but I will update everyone at the next meeting. Communication, we have no report. Long-term community development, no report. Parks and Rec,
Parks and Rec met last Wednesday, we're wrapping up the final plans for Family Fun Day. And we just had one little snag. The woman who did our pony rides last year had back surgery and didn't have to do it this year. But she gave us the name of another pony farm that we're getting the paperwork in line and hopefully get that wrapped up real soon. And just to mention it again, Family Fun Day is June 18th from 1 to 4.
Records, and Jed.
Jed's next meeting is June 7th at 7 o'clock in the Twinsburg Township Hall. That's it.
The Ordinance 10/2016, an ordinance to transfer funds from general fund to Ohio Public Works Commission Fund, first reading. Resolution 34/2016, a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement with 911 Cellular LLC for a sum not to exceed $11,000, third reading. Resolution 37/2016, a resolution to authorize and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Kevin Hudick for website development and hosting for the Reminderville Rec Center for a sum not to exceed $2,500, second reading. Resolution 41/2016, a resolution appointing Michael Kestner to the position of fire lieutenant, second reading.
Can we discuss that?
Yes.
Mr. Tom, so why, is this replacing somebody, is it new, why is this being done? His first question.
It's not replacing somebody, it's a new position. It's just to keep us in line with the data control, the national incident management system, when you guys took a test. You know that it's up to 7 individuals for a supervisor. We have 10. We have 3 platoons of 10. So this will be a 4th platoon and will get us down closer to the standard. It's the 4th lieutenant in a new position. It's not replacing. I mean, he's an existing guy, obviously.
Right.
It's not.
Just so everybody knows, this will, when we did the budget, the fire income tax was gonna be short to cover all the fire department's expenses. So the general fund was gonna have to supplement like $86,000. So this will make us have to supplement more, because this will be additional.
Well, it's about, for this year, it'll be about $450.
Just salary.
So,
And then he's
Well,
got
he
a
doesn't-
phone, covering that to
He gets
extra.
a phone, but he doesn't get
extra
any other
expense.
benefits. We don't have a pension
Right,
fund, we
right.
don't have sick leave or nothing. So he's gonna get $1.80 something an hour.
What did you want to say before I continue, Deb?
When the budget was done, that is true, what you're saying. We did not budget to actually make the transfer into the fire income tax, because the revenues, the income tax collections have been higher than what we were predicting, and they have been higher already to this point.
So he's probably covered.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's gonna be covered, even for that 86,000 that originally was projected he wouldn't be. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Just so everybody knows, this will, obviously, everybody's concerned about the parking thing, there's a cost involved, I just want everybody to know there is a cost associated with this.
How much, you said that it's going to more than cover, would you have any notion as to how much additional funding we'll be getting from the income tax?
I can run the reports, I didn't check this month, but last month at finance, Tom, can you help me remember, I gave
You
that
said
report.
3% overall over everything.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
would
know
need to
what
run the
came from
report,
what.
but the receipts are higher than were projected for 5 months worth of collection. I can check that one for you.
I'd appreciate it knowing that at the next.
I'll do it, yeah, I'll do it next meeting.
Resolution 42, 2016, a resolution authorizing a $2,000 donation to the City of Twinsburg Recreation Department for the Rock the Park event, second reading. Resolution 44, 2016, a resolution to accept the recommendations of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the preliminary development plan for Phase 9 of the Harrington Place subdivision, second reading. Resolution 46, 2016, a resolution to hire Dominique Love as a seasonal part-time laborer in the Department of Public Service to be paid at the rate of $9 per hour and declaring an emergency. Old business? Any old business? New business? New business? Stacy?
I went to the Summit County Public Health presentation for their medication disposal program, which is called the DUMP program. And what it is we would have a contract with Summit County Public Health and the Summit County Sheriff, and they in turn have a contract with Ross Environmental Services, and they incinerate everything at no cost to us. And their CVS has a program where we can get a free collection box from them, and following the Ohio code, the box would have to be inside a law enforcement agency, accessible to public during posted hours, which we would get to set, permanently attached, locked, placed within reasonable view of law enforcement personnel or under video surveillance, and then no needles, no chemotherapy medication. They can give you a separate box for needles if that's what you choose to do. And then you can post the signs how you want it. There's no signature required. It's confidential who wants to drop off whatever they had. And then basically Summit County would give us all of the supplies. Boxes, bags, gloves, tongs, everything. And then as the receptacle fills up, law enforcement officers would have to keep it wherever they would keep their normal evidence, so obviously no one can get to it. And then the sheriff has selected dates, like once a month or every other month, where our guys can take it and then they incinerate it for free. So if you guys are interested in that, you guys can let me know and then we can send that.
Got a question I just thought of. Do we need, because you were bringing up gloves, needling, do we need special insurance for something like this? In case somebody gets hurt? I know how people are. People are sue happy. Is there?
Yes, Summit County does.
You're talking about one of our employees?
Just, no, people
Someone dumping it off?
putting their hand in there and maybe it's
Certainly
full.
something you would advise your insurance provider of, that you
Okay.
have this box, this is how it works. They would probably, periodically, I think they come out and look at the properties that you have. They would probably want to take a look at it if they were diligent enough. I don't think it might trouble you raise or rate.
Okay, I was just curious.
But they should be advised. Anytime you change anything like that, they should be advised.
Chief?
I assume you guys are planning on putting this down in the police department?
Yes, because that is a law
By Ohio law,
enforcement.
that's the only place it can go.
We prefer not to have it down there unless you really think we need it.
Okay, then we can't have one then.
I don't know why this is all came about or whatever, but
Yeah, I don't like the idea.
for us to have to process that evidence, tag it in, I don't know what it is. The biggest problem that they have with them around our county is people trying to break into them. They just indicted a guy in Fairlawn who was a retired police detective there, who had the key and kept it once he left and was addicted to pain meds. So, like
I
me.
don't know what other alternatives we have for our residents, but the issue is to keep people from flushing them down the toilet and polluting our drinking water, the rivers and fishes. So it's a statewide, nationwide, there's a whole big issue, and I think that's why Summit County is supporting this. But I hear you, it just creates another, so, I don't know. Obviously, the incineration is the right end process, but getting it there, I don't know that, sadly, it's that intermittent stage from dropping it off to picking it up is why they pick on the police departments as the place for it to be.
What's the cost of it?
Nothing.
Great.
No cost of the box or anything?
And it has to be
Just mounting it
located
and making
inside
it
of the
permanent,
building.
Correct, because it has to be within view of personnel or video surveillance.
So it would
that
go
way someone
inside your
sticking their
lobby,
hand in
Jeff.
it, obviously
So
you see.
While you're open.
Yes,
Do they come and mount it and set it up?
I
It
can
didn't
ask.
sound like it, but.
It has
you
to
get
be
the box
attached.
from CVS.
So it would be in plain view with that nice glass door and everything?
Can't your parking bureau person do it?
Sure. We can actually hire another person to do the drugs, prescription drugs, and the parking bureau. Maybe we could, maybe it's the same principle as the phone. Maybe we could try it, see how it works out.
What we got?
My sense is that nobody's gonna be coming up there to dump drugs in it.
No, I'd ask Stacy to go to this because it was an issue that came up before about putting it into the fire station and stuff, and
Which is the right place for it.
I really didn't think that that was the legal way of doing it, which, as she said from the state, it is not. Can you get more information on this? Just have them send more of it out there.
Yeah, there are 14
The dump
locations through Summit County right now that does
That are
it,
using it.
Yeah.
including Twinsburg, Hudson, Macedonia, Akron, Ridgefield, and last year they collected
Just work out the
8,000
deal with Twinsburg.
5,000 pounds of pills. Just the pills, not the container. 8,000
If you think that our residents will bring it up, we'll give it a shot for a few months, see
Well,
what
why don't
happens.
we just tell our residents to drop it off in Twinsburg?
Yeah, I mean, I think that a community service would be to post these locations on our website and we're done.
Twinsburg kind of feels the same way as I do about it. That would be like me asking them to handle our calls, so.
Well, we're not gonna tell them to go to Twinsburg, we're gonna post on our website.
What's the difference?
With a red arrow going to Twinsburg. That flash.
Maybe, yeah, there you go.
It'll be
Yeah,
a
fine.
slightly larger font, easier to read than the other.
Have it
14.
below.
If there's a demand for it in the village, then we need to look at it. That's,
We can try it for 6 months, see how much it dropped off.
Right, well, Stacy will get us more information.
Yeah, and let's talk about it.
nothing else.
All right, any other new business? Jeff?
The mayor is well aware of this, it's an ongoing long-term problem, but I wanted to just bring the rest of the council up, especially since we got a new councilman. Summit County sold us on those new 800 radios that we purchased a couple years ago. You remember that? $50,000, blah, 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 they're gonna be perfect. We have at least a third of the village we cannot use our radios in, they do not work. I met with Summit County 8 months ago. I met with Valerie DeRose, who used to be a dispatcher, she knows radios, and Mike Sabo, who's in charge of the program. They told me they would get back to me within 3 weeks. Guess what? I'm still waiting. The bottom line is, they knew that this area was not covered because they don't have a repeater up here that covers the top of the hill, and they don't have the money to put one here. The reason they knew that was Twinsburg and Reminderville had worked out that problem over the years to where we had the repeater up here behind the fire department that covered the top of the hill for Twinsburg and Reminderville and the low areas. where the ledge is, it casts a shadow coming right across there from the Twinsburg antenna. So long and short of it is, they haven't done anything, I'm working with them to try and get it fixed. The only fix is to put a tower on this side of the ledges that shoots back. So everybody's aware of that, I know the mayor's aware of it, but there is
How
some,
much does the one cost?
500,000.
500,000?
500,000 to $1 million.
Ambulance.
Figure out the check.
Can they put it on a water tower over at Twinsburg?
No, it's gotta be on this side of the ledge that's running down through there.
The water tower's not high enough to clear that?
It doesn't clear that. It's gotta be, the ideal place for it would be the tower, right behind the Signature Solon, right over by the firehouse wing place over there, back that dead end road.
Yeah.
That tower's high enough. Or ideally, I mean, they don't wanna put a tower in Geauga County, which is what the problem is. Ideally, put a tower up here on the north end.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. We have nowhere that's big enough for something like that. How high is it gonna be?
I don't know. Their other fix was work out a deal with Geauga County, send us to Geauga County, then to Geauga County's dispatch, then from Geauga County's dispatch back to Twinsburg.
Well, the rec center isn't gonna be high, will it be high enough to put something off the top of that?
I don't know. That's something that the radio techs would have to answer.
Do a propagation study.
I'll talk to Russ Bryant too about getting some money for it.
Deborah?
This isn't really new business, this is what Mr. Hoffman asked for. And this is not very detailed because I really should go month by month and compare the last couple of years. Just using percentages, up to through May's collections, we should be at 42%. And the fire income tax is at 53.78%, which is $66,000 higher than we predicted they would be at this point. So it will slow down as the year progresses, it tends to do that. But to be that far ahead, it's almost covered that deficit that we predicted would be there already.
Thank you. Need a motion to,
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
roll call on adjourn.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Rickon?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Conrad?
Ready to go right into it?